What's going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. We woke up to a really great surprise this morning thanks to YouTuber Grace Randolph. Now, I don't think any of us were really expecting this, but she dropped an interview with Zack Snyder, who opened up, I think for the first time, really, since his live stream announcing Zack Snyder's Justice League. So this was really awesome, and while there are a number of great segments and things to talk about in this video, I'm going to focus in on just a few portions of the interview, and I'll play them for you. We'll talk about them, and it really has to focus in on the continuity aspect. So let's go ahead and get into it. Here is the first clip that that really stood out to me in terms of what he thinks on the continuity of Justice League. Check it out.
We shot the movie in 2016, so.
Things happen fast in Hollywood.
It'll be 5 years old when it comes out. For me, I've been living with it for that long. So, I think that and frankly, the DC, cinematic universe has gone on its branched like a tree and blossomed and grown and amazing in great ways. I'm a producer on Wonder Woman 84, and I'm super excited about what Patty's done with that movie, and it's amazing, and I love that, I love that character, and I love Gal. It's very close to me, and so that's great, that's amazing, I think, to me. And you look at what Matt's doing with Batman, and you have this, and by the way, I think I'm super excited about that. By the way, I
think it'll be very interesting.
I think he's an amazing filmmaker, and I think this is and Robert's cool, and I just think it's cool. Anyway,
I'm sure they appreciate that.
Well, it's just that I'm a fan, so I'm excited. For me, in the where the movie falls is it's sort of, I believe that it really starts to represent its own path. It doesn't really. It's kind of separate now from what I would say the DC universe, cinematic universe, in continuity. I think it's divergent in that way, and I think that that's a good thing. I think that the power of DC and one of its cool strengths is the sort of multiverse concept, where and also where they kind of put filmmakers first and say, you know what, guys, we want to hear your voice, your individual voices. Take these characters and do a run, and sort of show us what you would do. In sort of the great tradition of comic book writing and runs that have been done with all these amazing characters.
So the really cool thing about this clip is not only him talking about how this movie has kind of evolved into its own thing, into its own continuity, and we're going to talk more about that in a second. But in this particular clip, he really shows his support for other DC directors. As you guys know, there is a Matt Reeves Batman movie being made right now. There's a Wonder Woman 1984 that has not yet come out. And really, Zack Snyder just showing his level of support for all the other directors as a fan himself is really cool. Not only just humanizes him as a person, but it also helps bridge the gap between what people will call toxic Snyder fans, and they're just passionate fans out there. It'll bridge the gap between those fans who are super into Zack's vision, which I myself am included in that group of people. Someone who's really passionate about what Zack Snyder's created, especially with Ben Affleck and his version of Batman, but also what Matt Reeves is creating, which I'm really excited for as well. And there's two groups out there on the internet that are just clashing and fighting, and I think there's been more calls for unity and harmony between those two segments of fans online, if you guys haven't been following on Twitter lately. But I'm really excited that he's put that out there, and hopefully all his fans can just appreciate what is coming at the moment, because really, what do we have to complain about? We have potentially 3 different versions of Batman that we're going to see in the next couple years, and that's really exciting to me. But yeah. This is the first part of the interview where he highlights the continuity aspect and how this movie kind of, is its own thing. And let's look at the next clip and watch him kind of reaffirm that.
Well, I'm not sure. Again, I'm famously, and it's 100% true, I haven't seen the theatrical cut of Justice.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so I'm not 100% sure what happens to them in the movie. But you know, I would say that
for your forget that thing. You don't care about that old version anymore. But
well, I mean, I'm just saying that
yeah,
if you make it as a
comparison, yeah,
I'm not sure, okay. But I felt like, and we were excited about just how those two kind of loners would have to, be incorporated into this team setting, and like how they would react and what they would do. And meanwhile, Wonder Woman has other things going on as she looks forward to the future, and like, what is her place? And is it time to, think about like what she left behind on Themyscira and things like that. Like there's a lot of balls in the air with both of them. So I think it's incredible. It's also funny because Aquaman, the movie, takes place after this movie.
Yes.
Right? But Wonder Woman 84 takes place before this movie. So it's an interesting timeline, if you will. But I do think that to try to look at it as a really sharp continuity, I think would be a mistake. I think there is those movies now, in a lot of ways, the theatrical version probably of Justice League is tighter in continuity to what they're doing now in the DCU, because frankly, that was a movie that they were in charge of the elements, right? Mm-hmm. And because of this, and because, Warner Brothers has done the kind and amazing gesture of saying, Zeka, just, go finish your vision. It's going to be divergent in some ways. It's just by its nature that, mm-hmm. and I think that's a thing you want, because it just allows more is more.
So in this clip, he talks about, and he literally says it himself, how this is kind of more of a divergent path for the DC, for his version of the DC universe, where, again, it reaffirms that this is his own thing. The continuity kind of falls in line with all of his movies, Man of Steel, BVS, this version of Justice League, and hopefully there's more versions, and that's what really his concern was in this movie. And he even goes on to say that the theatrical version of Justice League is more representative of the DCEU and what they're kind of going for, which is gonna probably, upset some people, but maybe it'll make some people happy, because maybe some people, those select few people who did enjoy Justice League in the theaters, they can continue to enjoy that and just look at Zack Snyder's universe as a separate, divergent timeline. And I think it's really cool. And he goes, early in the clip, he talks about, how he doesn't know how certain characters, Aquaman and Wonder Woman, are portrayed in theaters, and how some people were kind of upset with that, how he doesn't really know how they're portrayed, but his concern is kind of really just telling the story from his perspective and how he would have done it. So again, two different versions of Justice League movies we're going to get, and I really think it's awesome because, like he says there, it really, more is more, and we get to have more material, more things to talk about, more things to appreciate, and he really kind of makes that connection to comic books in terms of, really popular runs of certain comics and how they're marked by their creative team, and I hope that makes sense. And he's just someone operating at this point in time with the players that he has to work with, and he's trying to make his mark on these characters that are going to live on forever. So I thought that was really, really an awesome way to elaborate, his current position on his Justice League movie. Now, this last clip I'm going to play has to do with JusticeCon. It's a fan-made convention that's going to be actually at the end of this week, in which he's going to have some surprises for us. Check it out.
And a lot of my friends, like literal friends, are part of it, so that's fun. And so, I'm gonna. I may show a clip. Maybe. And it is a small clip, but I may. What did I say? It is.
Yeah, you might.
It may be a small clip. Yeah, and also maybe there's another little, like a teeny little kind of another announcement as well, like a little side thing just for the fans. Yeah. And so not that everything is just for the fans, because I guess it is, but
This is cool though. So people
the
might
exciting
want
bit,
to tune
I
in.
think the clip is the that's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's very exciting. And when
So there you have it. There's Zach in his own words talking about how, you know, he's going to participate in this fan-made convention online, and he's gonna have some surprises for us. Not only a short clip of his Justice League, but also some surprises that we don't even know about. So I'm really curious. Does some of those surprises announcements have something to do with his participation in the future of DC movies or DC projects? I really hope it does. I think it can be. Or will it be kind of unrelated to DC in itself? Because I know Zack Snyder fans, we're going to get excited for whatever he has coming up next because we're just fans of his work. But I'm really hoping it's something to do with DC in the future. So yeah, again, those are my favorite parts of the interview. He really goes into detail on a lot of other things that are really cool to talk about and just listen to. Namely Superman and his cyborg portion of things. So check the full interview out if you are interested. But if you guys did enjoy the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And if there's a portion of the interview that really stood out to you, let me know what it was in the comments down below, and maybe we can make another video on this maybe at the end of the week or something. So there it is. Thanks guys for watching. Catch you guys later. Peace.